Baby, if you'd have told me that today I would be watching South Asian women and Scandinavian women come together to gather white women, I'd have told you were a liar. But here we are. Because the edges that are being snapped over this dupata debacle, oh, sweetie, I am sat with popcorn in hand. Long story short, here comes colonizer Barbie with the bullshit, co-opting the dupata, which is a traditional piece of clothing. It is a scarf that is worn within Indian and other South Asian culture. It predates, like it goes back to the Indus civilization, like 2500 BC, okay? And here they come with the bullshit, trying to co-opt it and call it a Scandinavian scarf.
What are we classifying this wedding guest vibe as? Because I'm literally so obsessed. Something about the vibe makes it so special. But like, what is this aesthetic called? It's like not Scandinavian summer wedding guest, but it's very European, effortlessly chic, I guess I would say.
This piece of clothing is tied into resistance, it's tied into autonomy, it's tied into reclaiming of dignity. Like, this is more than just throwing a scarf over me like, oh, let's go get a matcha latte. And if that wasn't enough, here came Scandinavia with like, oh girl, hold my salted fish, because nobody told y'all to say that this was something on our behalf. Because Scandinavia, yes, it is a westernized society, right? It comprises of Denmark, Iceland, and Norway. However, they keep to a lot of their traditional nuances and cultural principles and don't play that shit. Do you know how annoying you have to be for people within your own demographic to be like, don't speak for us? Child, not the day before Jesus comes back. They literally banded together like the Avengers and said, absolutely not. I'm done.
Hi guys, welcome to yet another video. It's Ndagere here. So when a lot of us African people, black people come on the internet or come out and we complain about palmed people coming into our nation, stealing our cultures, stealing our history, stealing our way of life, demonizing our cultures, demonizing our way of life, of living, our infrastructures, the things that we have going on, and they like look at them as they are not worthy, but they tend to be the same people to go and rebrand those same things, bring them back, and they're like, now it's better because we have a white face on it. And people are like, oh, black people are overreacting. Why do you complain about everything? We should share cultures. Like, that's the whole essence of it, like share cultures. In this video, it's about a white woman and a certain brand that came out and made that certain outfit, and they called it a Scandinavian scarf. And a lot of South Asian, especially women, are pissed. They are coming in hard. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. When we black people come out and complain about these things, you guys are like, we are overreacting. But now that it's about you, like a white woman is renaming something that you hold dear to yourselves, you're coming in hard. Now it matters. Now it should be appreciated, not, culturally appropriated. Make it make sense. But yeah, guys, listen to what is going on. Come back and let me know your thoughts on it, because this, wow, the entitlement of white people, insane.
Now let me get this straight. White American women are wearing the dupata and rebranding it as the Scandinavian scarf. South Asian women, rightfully so, are making fun of these white American women by wearing our cultural attire and sarcastically calling it the Scandinavian scarf. Now, Scandinavian women have entered the chat and they're like, Scandinavian scarf who? We don't know her. Now, why are we in this? Oh man, I love TikTok. What South Asian women hurt you? It is moments like these that remind me that we are currently in what is called the karma of brown folk. Biggest takeaway that I got from the karma of brown folk was that people in the West, namely white people in the West, like the idea of what they think we are, and they hate the idea of who they think we are, but they don't know how to actually feel about who we actually are. If you've ever watched A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff, you remember that one scene where she's coming down the aisle, the staircase, and that girl is like, love the dress, hate her. Well, that's kind of like what it means to be a South Asian woman. Or people love what they think you have, but they don't like who they think you are. Enter the model minority myth. You have to prove that you are one of those good hardworking, successful South Asians in order to be good enough and deserving of respect. But once you achieve that status, they kind of resent you for it, because not only did you overcome the odds as an immigrant or as the children of immigrants, you surpassed expectations. Not only are they forced to respect you, they're forced to reckon with the fact that you did it better than they did. Even if you're low-key on the edge of unaliving yourself because you had to work so hard to prove that you're deserving.
You guys really want to know my thoughts on the Scandinavian scarf scandal? Because you might get your feelings hurt. You have to understand this about Indian people. We are very hospitable and we love to share. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with non-Indian people wearing Indian clothes, but the situation has to be appropriate. The reason that we're upset is because it still feels like you don't really like us. You say you wouldn't date us, but then you buy our hair. You say we're too dark, but then you go and get a spray tan. You say you like yoga and you love astrology, but then you tell Hindus that they're not going to heaven. Another reason we're all so upset is because we know that nothing is going to be done about it. If Reformation had chosen an Indian woman to be the face of that Sharara set, we would have loved them even more. They probably still will never do that. Reformation probably isn't going to come out and make a statement about it. And unfortunately, that's going to be okay. And everybody will forget about it, and it will continue to happen again and again. This isn't pessimistic thinking. This is me observing a pattern and a cycle that has been going on forever. One of my friends, Sirath, she literally made this amazing statement about how it feels like what we experienced as little brown girls growing up did not get any better. It almost feels like it's getting worse, and people are feeling the same things right now. So that is why it is such a big deal that you're wearing a dupata. That's why.
I'm convinced white people say things are Scandinavian or from some Nordic country when they cultural appropriate things because it's their version of exotic, right? Like, at least from a United States, like American perspective, right? We don't learn a ton about like Nordic countries or Scandinavian countries from just from a historical, cultural perspective, right? Like, I live in New York. I've been to restaurants that have food from Uzbekistan, right? The most Swedish food I've had is in an IKEA cafeteria, right? Because y'all used to just appropriate shit and name random European countries. Like, it used to be, I can get cornrows because French braids, right? Now it's, Vikings. Vikings had cornrows and box braids, right? And then people who are, actually, from Nordic countries and, ancestors where Vikings have to get on here and tell you, like, one, Viking was not an ethnic group, it was an occupation. And two, no, they didn't fucking wear box braids. And then they show you what Viking braided hairstyles look like. It's like, if you want to wear a Viking braided hairstyle, wear this. Stop fucking appropriating, like, black people's hairstyles, right? And now y'all are getting on here wearing a dupata and talking about, a Scandinavian summer dress. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, I saw somebody be like, it's just like wearing a pashmina or a shawl. No, it's not like wearing a fucking pashmina or a shawl. Like, your pashmina is not painstakingly made to match exactly with that dress. Okay, you go to like the store, you buy a blue pashmina and you wear it with every goddamn dress that you can that has blue in it. You know what I mean? The point of the pashmina is like for it to keep you warm when a breeze comes. The dupata is like a scarf around your neck. And y'all want to argue with South Asian people talking about it's the same, people wear scarves. Yeah, people do wear scarves around their neck all the time. But it's okay to say where the fuck the inspiration came for. Y'all here wearing, like, was it last year? Y'all was out here wearing saris and calling them fucking Scandinavian dresses. Somebody was wearing, like, I forget what it's called, but, like, the men's, like, that long, patterned vest, calling it some Scandinavian shit. Like, y'all have to stop. Y'all have to stop. I saw somebody on here talking about their jumkas and calling them chandelier earrings. Like, if y'all don't, I swear, I don't know at what white people meeting y'all decided, like, Iceland, Norway, and Denmark were, like, exotic places that because y'all no longer, it wasn't cool to be, I don't know, French, Irish, or German. So it was just like, now, when we want to steal from people of color, it's just going to be from, Sweden.
Y'all remember that white woman who said our dupatas were giving like some sort of Scandinavian vibe? I have something that will make you all even more mad. So this is an Australian brand selling a jhumka with the name Farah earrings, as you can see. And in the description, it says the Farah earrings will give a bohemian luxe feeling. And of course, once again, no credit to South Asian culture at all. What's crazy to me that is 40 pounds. 40 pounds for a pair of jhumkas. I can get this for 10 ringgit in Brickfields. Forget 10 ringgit, I can get it for 5 ringgit on Deepavali, okay? In Brickfields, you walk around Brickfields, you'll get this for 5 ringgit around the streets. And of course, the model has to be some light-skinned blonde woman because, you know, in Australia, there's no such thing as South Asian, Indian women, dark skin. None of that exists in Australia. Did you all know that? Anyways, I look forward to Diwali this year so I can see everyone in their Scandinavian outfits and their bohemian luxe earrings so they get a bohemian glow off of it.
It's not that deep, just give us credit. I mean, people love to slap other countries' names in front of things, you know, Korean skincare, Japanese hair perm, Turkish rug, Scandinavian hairline, French girl bob, European chic fashion. But you're telling me that when there is a piece that is so clearly South Asian inspired, you're gonna jump through every single hoop to avoid admitting that it's actually South Asian? And granted, I know that these names aren't always accurate, but why is everyone acting like calling something Indian is like getting the cheese touch? And listen, I get that there's a bigger conversation about like where, when, and who can be wearing these pieces, but at the bare minimum, can we finally admit that they're South Asian? This whole experience has really brought to light how much internalized racism people still have against India and other South Asian countries. And honestly, I don't know what the solution is.
This isn't the first time that South Asian fashion has been stolen and appropriated by Western culture. By now, you've probably seen the Ibiza summer fashion trends and the Scandinavian aesthetic that has been a huge controversy on the internet. These Western brands have ripped off South Asian culture without crediting it, and let me tell you why this isn't anything new. For a bit of fashion history, as we do on this page, Jamdani is a fine Muslim textile that is made out of a rare cotton that grew on the banks of the rivers of Bangladesh in the 1500s. This textile was considered one of the most valuable fabrics of its time, and it was used to make sharis and tunics while also being exported to the European aristocratic classes. This is a very labor-intensive hand-woven technique where you have to manually weave in each thread. So once the British colonized the Bengal region, it took control of the entire industry and forced weavers to import lower quality threads while producing a higher volume of jamdani at lower prices, which eventually pushed them into debt. So why I bring this up with the current controversy of the Biza Scandinavian aesthetic is because this is yet another tactic to push the original innovators off the map. That's why it's important to support the local South Asian brands so they don't go out of business instead of putting money in the pockets of brands that don't actually care. Hot take, but I think it's amazing that non-South Asian people are wearing our clothing, but only if they're authentically embracing our culture and giving us credit for it.
The dupatta is more than just an iconic piece of clothing that can be relabeled as a Scandinavian scarf. It's the symbol of resistance for South Asian women for centuries upon centuries. If you're confused about the whole Scandinavian scarf versus dupatta dialogue, here is a brief history of the dupatta. The actual word dupatta originates from Persian with the meaning two and patta meaning pieces of cloth. The earliest sign of the dupatta that can be documented is in these terracotta figurines depicting the Indus Valley civilization, which is 2500 to 1500 BC. It can also be seen in the Gupta period from 320 to 550 CE, in which they're wearing a dupatta as well as the two-piece that would eventually evolve into the lenga. In the Mughal era from the 14th century to the 19th century, we can really see the dupatta evolve into something that's luxurious, embedded with pearls, different colors, and really made to empower women and make them feel beautiful. Look at this beautiful style of draping. And this era was also where this beautiful style of anarkali dress originated.
This is something that a lot of white people have been doing. I've seen it with celebrities coming up with a way of putting makeup, putting liners, and they're like, oh, I discovered something and I've innovated something. But then people of color have been doing it for a long time, using hair nets, okay, using scrubs for the skin, there's also something that I shared before about the boba tea, where two white people came out, they were like, oh, we are changing bubble tea and everything doesn't have to be traditional anymore, like we are making it better.
This is the popping boba. We sell it in convenience store to add to any drinks.
Did you like this?
I thought it was fine, I'm concerned about this idea of disrupting or disturbing bubble tea because it's something that's very
There can
near.
be new takes on things.
Sure,
Nothing,
but I'm looking at
not
I'm
everything
looking
has to
at
be
these two guys.
traditional.
No, but then there's also an issue of cultural appropriation. There's an issue of taking something that's very distinctly Asian in its identity and quote unquote making it better, which I have an issue with.
It's not an ethnical product anymore, not with the popping bobas. So we took the version, the Asian version, and we made it with the fruit, with juice.
What do you mean you're making it better? So they go in, ethnic groups of people and steal things from there, come out, rebrand it, and bring it to our faces for us to just accept it. The same way you're going to see, like now when it comes to building, they are building huts African huts and calling them eco way of reserving the environment, but then they demonized our huts that they were not civilized in any way until they touched it, right? Insane. Like the entitlement of white people when it comes to how they really want to show that they are better, but they always steal from other groups of people is beyond. Like I want to see something really authentic from a white person without looking outside of themselves, and they can never show it. They cannot present it. I don't know. Is it there, guys? Let me know. Maybe I'm just ignorant about it. Please let me know in the comments if it's there because I want to see it. And let's be honest, this also
These
reminds me
ladies and
of
whatever
a
they're
white
saying
man that
is
was
to
like
saying,
these people
the
like
people
the
that build the
idea of
pyramids in
we
Egypt
are,
were,
but they hate
white people, not
who
black
we
people.
are. Which I'm like, oh my god, these people really like to put their faces on everything. Like if their face is not on it, then it does not make sense. And I was just cracking up. I was literally cracking up. Like, wow, always stealing from other people. And so this should be a reminder to other groups of people that when we come out as Africans, as black people, and we complain that we have been taken advantage of a lot from these people, I think they should have some grace to us, because if they are coming up and they are like, no, this is our thing, it's our traditional thing, it's our cultural thing, and you want to be respected, why is not the same grace extended when it comes to us? But I mean, what more can I say? When it's us who are crying, it doesn't matter. When it's them, everyone should listen. But at the end of the day, we should really understand that Palm people need to know they don't have anything. Just labels, just labels. Guys, that is it for me in the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for the members, super chats. I'll see you in another video. Bye.